Welcome to our Uni-Vibe series.
In this series, we're going to share with you Uni-Vibes from some of our favorite manufacturers.
And maybe we'll figure out, does the drive go before or after a vibe? On today's episode of PJ and the Beard, we're going to take a look at a Uni-Vibe pedal. But before we get into that, I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing to the channel, click on the notification bell. Your interaction with us helps us interact with great people in the industry. And in this case, the pedal shelf is the great person in the industry. Today, we're looking at the DryBell Vibe Machine version 2 Vibe pedal as part of our Vibe series.
Yeah, this has been around since before the show started, and I think has shown up on the channel a couple times in different places. It was a staple on my board for a long time. Let's get into it. Listen, it's a Uni-Vibe.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, but wait, there's more. I don't want to spend too much time here. Intensity, what you would expect. Intensity, speed, chorus, vibrato, boom, done. There's some impedance stuff we'll talk about later with the other switch. The big thing with this that I want to mention is there are 3 trim pots on either side of the pedal. On this side of the pedal, there is a volume trim pot, a range and a symmetry trim pot. And on this side of the pedal, there is a
custom chorus grit. Custom chorus grit.
So, what's that all about? Well, you know, the volume, you can boost the volume up a little bit if you need to. You can play with the range and symmetry, but they're like, before you stick the screwdriver in there, mark it with a marker because we have it in a really good spot and it's really easy to mess up. So when I read that, I was like, great, they have it in a good spot. I'm going to leave it there because I like the way it sounds. So I've never touched those. The grit I've never touched. The custom I've never touched because the custom is going to go somewhere between the original and the bright settings for the impedance going into it.
The chorus.
Yeah, and then the chorus, do you want to make it a little more wishy-washy or whatever? And I've always thought it's been kind of good. And, I say that very confidently, but there's a possibility that, because I've had this pedal for years and years, there's a possibility that I did play with those at one point. But I like the way it sounds now, so I'm not going to touch it.
Good job.
So there we go. The thing I like about what DryBell's doing is you can pull this out of the box, flip it to chorus, play with the intensity and speed, get a really nice Uni-Vibe sound, and forget all these trim pots and forget all the secondary features. You don't have to buy the F1L foot switch that you can plug into it that you can use to control ramping between 2 different speeds or to control the cancel function. You don't need to get like an EP1 from Mission Engineering expression pedal like we have back there to control it. You can just use it as a Uni-Vibe. Yeah. But if you want to do all that stuff, you can. And then you can make this, whatever you're plugging into, a tap tempo. You could make it just to hit the cancel feature. And a Uni-Vibe, the cancel feature just turns off the swirly part. It keeps, I guess, like the preamp.
Right.
I'm going to say that twice in this video.
Then you can ramp.
Yeah, you can ramp between 2 different speeds. So there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do. And they have a pretty documented extra options manual that you can go into and get in all those options. But the big thing is, how's it sound? It's a Uni-Vibe. I have my American Strat, and I play the same thing on every Uni-Vibe video to start it off. And so here that is.
All right, so my first pass with the star of the show, I paired it with the Greer Lightspeed because I just wanted just a little bit more push to it. And I grabbed the PRS Silver Sky. I had it in the chorus side and played this.
At the point of the video where we like to twist some knobs for you, I want to start with the one switch on here that goes from original to bright to custom and just talk about that. I learned something about this tonight, which I didn't know before, but if you want to have this pedal first in your chain, or the only pedal in your chain if you want that switch to really work. If you throw like a buffered tuner in front of it, it's not really going to have an effect. Mm-hmm. So you need like, it takes advantage of the full impedance coming from your pickups. And so original's going to be a little duller, like warmer, like the original Uni-Vibe. Go up to bright, it gets a little brighter. And then the custom setting, there's a trim pot on the side, and you can dial anywhere between original and the bright. But we're going straight into the pedal. Mm-hmm. So we'll, well, what do you have first?
Yeah, I went to the far end of the rack and I grabbed the PRS NF3 with the narrow field pickups, playing everything as always through the Tyler and the Echo Tour. And here's the clean.
So maybe just a couple strums on each one so we can hear the difference. You are on the original to start.
All right.
All right, so I'm going to go back to original, and I'm going to flip it up into the chorus mode now, too. We don't have a lot of knob twisting to do. Mm-hmm. We could do a ton of trim pot twisting.
This could be a Ken Burns series on this pedal.
Yeah, if you got into all the special features and stuff. We're going to try and keep that to a minimum. Let's run the intensity and the speed. I'm going to set the speed about middle, but I'll run both knobs. Just let you play for a little bit, and then we'll come back out of that and go over maybe the vibrato mode. All right. There are a lot of great sounds in there. So, depending, sometimes you get the speed high, maybe pull the intensity back or whatever. There's cool stuff going on. That's the chorus side. And then the oft overlooked vibrato side of the pedal, we flip the switch down. I think maybe do the same thing. Just let you play a little bit and we'll turn some knobs, give them an idea of what the ranges are. All right. Vibrato. I like the vibrato in this one. It's a little.
Yeah.
Is it a little more subtle than some of them
A
were?
little more subtle. It's a little, absent the original signal, it's still pretty warm, I think.
Yeah, I like it. So, at face value, that's it. One thing I do want to mention, because we used it a couple times, let's click it back over to chorus. There's a little bit, if you look at the circles around the knobs, if you get a close look at that, there's a little heartbeat symbol here, and that kind of indicates to you, I think, where it really starts to get kind of throbby or whatever. There's a whole bunch of little symbols around this knob. Those are all the different modes. And so you can plug an expression pedal in, and you can use that to go between fast and slow. You can set it up so it ramps between heel and toe, like heel slow, toes fast, and then like you press it, and then you can set up a ramp speed for how long it's going to take to do that. You can use it to cancel. Like you can use the cancel feature on this. So if you think back to the original Uni-Vibes, they had an on and off, but they also had a cancel. So the cancel turns off the swirly part, but keeps the preamp from the pedal going, which is interesting. You can use it with, this is why I wanted to, this little guy here.
You went fishing and you caught a pedal.
This is the F1L by DryBell. It goes with the pedal. And so we have that set up where, well, we'll do it once. We can show it.
I love ramp.
I know. I love anything that ramps. So I have it set up to go between fast and slow. It goes to pretty fast. And then, so the way it is, like if I just turn, I can set the slow easy. And then if it flips over, it goes that pretty fast. Mm-hmm. You can set the fast speed too. You can go into the programming mode and set the fast speed as well. And you can also set the ramp speed. So I have a pretty slow ramp on there. You can make it go almost immediately. You can make it go with no ramp immediately, or you can make it with a quick ramp, or you can probably slow it down even a little bit more. A lot of times in videos like this, we would take the time to show you how to do that. There is so much to this and setting it up. I'm not saying that it's hard. It's not hard. I think you turn the speed knob like 3 times, and then you're in the setup mode, and then you turn to the speed you want, and then the light changes, and then you turn to the ramp you want.
Right.
For the top speed, the high speed. It's not really, I don't think, that difficult, but you would want to use the owner's. There's 2 owners. There's an owner's manual to tell you how to like use it like we're using it. And then there's an options manual that gets you into all this stuff.
Like if you glasses and a pocket protector.
If you want to use the switches, if you want to use an expression pedal, there's some other things that you can do with it as well. I think we talked about the other potential trim pots on the side earlier in the video, so we're going to kind of skip over that. Whenever we do, excuse me, a Uni-Vibe pedal, I always like to see, can it kind of get that Leslie sound? You know, like that's my thing. So I'm always thinking, can it kind of get that? And even though maybe it doesn't sound exactly like a Leslie, you know, there's a myth about.
Yeah, what came first, or chicken or the egg? Or,
well, there's a myth about that Uni-Vibes are supposed to be a Leslie.
Right.
We have a video on that, put in the cards. Josh Scott helped us out with that. But the ramp really can make it feel like Leslie.
Right.
So here's that clip. Here's a clip of that.
All right, for this clip, we always like to try the Uni-Vibe with some type of drive or a fuzz. So I actually grabbed one off it's an oldie but a goodie for the show at least, Scattered Abroad Effects Fuzzy Fox Fuzz. I went into the auxiliary room and I grabbed the Harley Benton with the Porter P90 in it. And I didn't play classic rock. It was kind of a cross between a Tex mess up. I'll call it Tex mess, just with the fuzz. And I had it set on the vibrato side. Here it is.
So a lot of times in this point in the video, I grab the other Strat 2 down a half step, throw heavy fuzz in front of it, and go for it. But this time, tried something different. I got my PRS McCarty down and a Barber Electronics Direct Drive because it just sits here on the demo board, right? So this is a go-to for me. Put this after the vibe, right? And then tried playing with it kind of wound up and then roll it back a little bit to play some chords and back and forth and see how that went. And so this is what that sounded like. That's all the clips we have for you tonight. Knob turning and etc. etc. How about some final thoughts, Pat, on the Vibe Machine from DryBell? Version 2.
That's right. My final thoughts are always sound like a plethora of excuses, but I'm still trying to get down with the vibe. I still don't know that I ever fully get it to sound like maybe what I hear in my head. I think we both struggle with that a little bit. But as far as being able to get sounds out of this that was usable pretty quickly without using all the secondary manual and all the other things, it's what the Beard was saying in the intro. Like if you just want to use it as a straight up out of the box, drop it on your pedal board, it was really easy to get good sounds with it. And just enough cocktailing with this, I'm calling it the tone shaping toggle, because, oh, that's a little bright. Well, let me change that. Like, so there's 3 options on here, because every once in a while I get a Uni-Vibe, maybe I think it sounds a little thin, or depending on where you have the intensity set, I think there was just enough basic controls, if I dare say those words, on the pedal itself that it was easy to sit down here and pull it out and play with it. Like, it was great. And it's been sitting back there the whole time we've been doing this channel. And I don't think I personally have ever pulled it off the wall. Yeah. But it's a pretty easy go-to. And when I came down and you had it dialed in already, like just playing with it, I'm like, that sounds really good. Right. So I liked it.
I actually had to pull this off my pedal board for tonight because I had it over on the other pedal board. This is pre-show. So one of the cool things about doing a YouTube channel, we don't get paid to do a YouTube channel. Not money, but there's a lot of gear that comes through. So we get to go look at the website and see all the Uni-Vibe pedals we've done or how the Leslie pedals we've done. So we get to experience a lot of pedals. This one was, and a lot of them, some of them are sent to us and we send them back or whatever, or you discount whatever. This is full price from the manufacturer before the show ever started. And I don't have any thoughts of getting rid of it.
I don't think you're going to flip that one. No.
No, like, I mean, we have, right, this is going to stay, this is, you know, I've used it a lot. It's been on my pedal boards a lot. Intensity, speed, set it to the chorus, stomp on it, and go. Sounds good. And Uni-Vibes,
they can be persnickety.
I feel like the Uni-Vibes and envelope filters are the two that we've found, like, man, sometimes it's hard to get what you hear in here and what you hear back there are not always the same thing.
Right.
So, the Vibe Machine, this is version 2. There's a version 3 out there. You'd have to look up and see what version 3 does. Pat did mention that you can put it down and get going right out of the box with good sounds. If you are a cocktailer, if you're somebody that likes to have tons and tons of control, wants to fiddle and noodle with things, these extra 6 trim pots give you all that ability. And then when you get in there and start programming the pedal, I don't know if I finished my thought earlier, but I was going to say one of the things I like about them is here's a pedal with no menus, no deep dive, like, you know, embedded layers and stuff like that. But man, the amount of control and stuff you can do with the programming, you just got to get out the manual and look at it, see how to do it, is really impressive.
Make sure you have a Sharpie nearby.
Yeah, and have a Sharpie if you're going to turn those 2 knobs right there. So with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out the channel. If you hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, leave a like, any of that stuff. Anytime you interact with the channel, that's what helps us interact with cool people in the industry. I did talk to DryBell a little bit before we did this because I wanted to make sure. I was like, should we wait till we can get a version 3 or is the version 2 okay? And they were like, do the version 2. Like, you can look up and see what the changes are, but I got the feeling it's not that much different that sound-wise that you're not going to get an understanding of what's out there. So with that,
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you, no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.
Yeah.